Okay, hey, well, I'm going to help you newbies get through the playbook so that it makes some sense to you. I wanted to start off with lots of times when Coach Rick writes emails, he uses abbreviations for positions. And so I wanted to help with that just a little bit to begin with. Hopefully this works. Okay, so these two ends are tackles. These two are guards. The gaps are the same on both sides. You got your center, your quarterback, your fullback, and your wing backs. There's your wide receivers or split ends. He calls them WR or SEs in his abbreviations. Fullback is FB. Wing backs are WB. Sometimes he'll say RWB, which means right wing back. Line of scrimmage is the line of scrimmage that everyone lines up on. He'll say LOS. Also, you have to have 7 people on the line of scrimmage. So that's why the receivers have to put their hands up. Make sure that you're on, because if you're not on, then we get called for a penalty. All right, the defensive line techniques I'm not going to worry about. You guys deal with that on defense. Here is the passing tree. And basically, if you're a wide receiver and wing backs, you have to know what the numbers and what the routes are. So they're pretty self-explanatory. The 1 is the one-step pitch, so it's a one step and come back. The 3 is the little out pattern that mostly the wing backs do. And the wide receivers now are starting to do a little pigtail, which is shown in practice. So you come in, you turn, and you go head out. The number 2 for us is generally a straight slant or maybe a one-step slant. You'll learn more of how to get them off of you and how to run them better. But it's a slant, a 45-degree angle. The 4 is a little curl pattern, like a 5 or 6 or 7-yard curl. The 5 pattern is it's a 90-degree, whereas the 3 is not a 90-degree turn. So the 5 is a 90-degree turn. So you go up and go straight out. The 6 is go up and go straight in. Remember that the passing tree flips on either side. So if you're on the left side, the even patterns go in, the odd patterns go out, and the opposite is true on the other side. Our 8s, which are posts, are not really that long. We run more like a 6 or 7-yard post. And the 7, the post corner. So you're going up, cut in, then go out to the corner. Not up here, out to the corner, because we have to have that angle so that we can get you the ball. The 9s for us are fading to the outside like that. They aren't straight, they're fading to the outside. If you have 2 people with 2 9s like this, they split and do 9s. And they'll talk more about that. Okay, next page. We'll talk about play calling and how that makes sense in just a second. The most important thing that you have to know, well, there's a lot of important things, but the shoot formation is our most basic formation. So he'll say, shoot formation. That's it right there. You're looking at it. The heavy shoot right. Heavy can go either side, but in this picture it just says heavy shoot right. That just means that the tackle from here jumps over here. There's your tackle. This is the wide receiver that was here, and they come down to right here. Just think heavy. You're lopsided, it's heavy. This wide receiver's out here. This is your tackle. Okay, then everyone else stays the same. The dirty shoot right, he uses dirty as kind of a, the line's not heavy, it's the wide receivers and the wing backs that have moved over. So you're still in shoot. Shoot always has a fullback. So this is a wing back from over here. This is I think this is the wing back, and here's the wide receiver. Oh my gosh, I can't remember on that. But they'll tell you in practice. And here's your other wide receiver. Both these are wing backs, but I can't remember if this is the wide receiver here or the wide receiver here. Can't remember at this moment. All right, tight shoot means that this person this person is a tight end, they'll switch out. One of the wide receiver goes out, this person comes in and lines up right here. Okay, twins, these wing backs just widen out, and there you are. Pretty simple on that one. Okay, wishbone we're not going to worry about. Rugby punt we're not going to worry about. Falcon right. So he'll always say falcon right or falcon left. There's no fullback in this formation. So the fullback, you have a wide receiver, a wing back, and this is the fullback right here. So they come out over here. And same is true on the other side, except, I'm not going to say because I know he's going to do a little bit different thing on the Falcon right this year. So just know that this is the formation. You have 3 receivers to one side. Okay, so when he does play calling, for a receiver, it's a lot less to know than for a wing back. So a receiver, you're just either blocking or you're running. But as you probably picked up a little bit, he will call a formation, then he will call a play like triple option right. So let's say he says falcon right, triple option right. You just have to know the formation, and then he'll call the play. But then he always, for every single play, he always calls 3 numbers. The numbers in a running play just tell you which side that you're going to go. So he'll say falcon right, triple option, 686. Well, because those are even numbers, then it's going to be triple option to the right. Same was true if he's calling it to the left. So it could be triple, or it could be falcon right, triple option, 767. That means triple option to the left. Now, if he says, since he's calling everything in the huddle right now, he'll say, shoot formation 789. The 7 tells you that it's the left side, and the 89 tells you that the outside receiver, 8 and a 9 right here. So you're always starting from outside in. The numbers always work from the outside in. Now, if you are in a 3 receiver or a 3 eligible receiver side, then the 3 numbers just go with these 3 people. So 689 would be 6 and an 8 and a 9. So receivers in the past really liked the way that we call plays, just because you don't have to memorize a certain passing play. You just listen for the numbers, and that tells you the route. So it's pretty simple once you kind of understand the concepts that we're trying to do. Also right here, if you're the backside receiver, so these guys are the backside receivers right here because it's the non-power side. That's where he talks about A is for alpha, B is for Bravo, see my cursor, C is for Charlie. So if he says, 689 alpha, these guys here are 6, 8, 9, and then alpha is a 2 and a 3. Got it? So that's how they do the play calling. Now, usually we wear wristbands, so the wristbands will just be in English, so it'll say triple option right, shoot formation, triple option right. So that's pretty simple. They're going to teach you verbals. We're going to have verbals. So an audible or a verbal just means that we'll have names for things that tell us what the play is. So for example, he might use submarine. Submarine tells us it's a dive play. So you as players will know, he'll say the formation, he'll say the name of the play. So let's say shoot falcon right, submarine 686. Submarine tells us it's a dive, 686 says it's a dive right. And so it's pretty simple. All right. Dirty falcon right. Dirty, once again, tells you that you are loading one side. So you have your falcon, which is the 3 receivers, and then we're adding a 4th one, and that makes it dirty. So on when you have 4 receivers right here, these guys will run the numbers that are told. So let's say it's 2, 8, 9. And this receiver right here always runs an 8, only in this formation. Only in this formation. And then this backside will be an Alpha, Charlie, Bravo, or he'll say choice. And choice means that you can run a 9 or a 2. And we have communications with the quarterback. So if you get up to the line of scrimmage and you think you're going to run a 2 and the quarterback wants you to run a 2, depending on the coverage, then the wide receiver or the quarterback will casually wipe their leg. If they want it to be a 9, which will be way out here like that, they'll casually hit their side of their helmet. You're trying to make it discreet. And if we're doing the pigtail, which we just barely worked on, we'll casually just grab our face mask. Either one of us. The quarterbacks or the wide receivers. So that's that right there. Go down here, the motions. Wide receivers, you don't have motions. Wingbacks, you do. So this is pretty self-explanatory. And it's basically when you're learning the plays, and then you'll be learning the formations. So, but rodeo and lassos go right behind the quarterback. And we use those for like fly sweep. Or fake traps. Or excuse me, fake handoffs to the wingback, and then the fullback gets the trap. The Roger and the Logger are for the triple option, and the Liz and the Rips he uses as decoy motions, generally speaking. So he'll say, this is shoot formation. He'll say 789, so 7 tells us to the left, 8, 9 for these two, and he'll call a rip. And the rip, we want the defense to think we're going in motion, and instead of going all the way over here, they turn and cut back, and they help block, and the line shifts over to block because they have help right here. So they'll shift to the left. Okay, they're just showing lasso and logger here. Rodeo and Roger. Okay, we're not going to worry about these. These show, it's kind of more for the line as far as if it's a 4-man front or a 5-man front. So we're not going to worry about that. That's more Stephanie's area. But remember, on triple options, the tackles don't block anybody. Well, they don't block the DN. They go to the linebackers. When they talk about 4-man or 5-man fronts, so when they say a 4-3, that means there's 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers right here. 4-4, that means there's 4 and 4. 5-3 means 5-3. And with the tight end, not going to worry about that. Speed option blocking. Remember fullbacks? Well, yeah, maybe it's a good time. So fullbacks speed option means that you could get the ball, or he'll put one of the wingbacks in motion, and that means you're not going to get the ball. So let's say he does speed option right, like this is showing. You'll get this one shows you're going to get the ball. But if he puts them in motion, this one will get the ball, and you go take this DN right here and blow them up, and this person will come over here and get the ball. So that's a speed option with motion. Speed option without motion is fullback getting the ball. Alrighty. Also, if they call stick, that is a blocking term for the wingbacks and the tackles. That means the wingback instead will go help block right here, so that the quarterback can read off this linebacker coming in. Alrighty. Also, switch calls means that the wide receiver goes and blocks this, the safety, and the wingback is going to go block the corner. And if we have a switch called, but then I or a wingback or a tackle calls stick, and that's only if the linebacker has walked up to the line of scrimmage, then the switch call is taken off automatically. And you'll learn more about you know, how to block, how to run your routes better, and you'll learn more about watching your defenders and how to go get them. Alright, we're not going to worry about that. This is for QBs. Don't need to worry about that. Okay, traps. I'm going to show you down here. We have, you know, a few formations as I showed you, but then we also only have a few actual run plays. So we have triple option, speed option, trap, counters, sweeps. Oh, my S got erased. Sweeps, which are fly sweep or toss sweep, blast, and dive. So those are all the running plays that we have, and we can do them out of any formation. So triple option is where I can hand off to the fullback, I can keep it, or I can pitch. And the other quarterbacks, of course, have the same choices depending on the defense. Speed option means that the quarterback or the person in motion or the fullback can get the pitch. Traps are for fullbacks, counters are for wingbacks, sweeps are for wingbacks, blasts are for wingbacks, and dives are for fullbacks. So fullbacks, if we are going trap right, that means that you're stepping to the left first and then coming across to the right. But remember, you're using your opposite foot. So if you're stepping to the left, you're using your right foot to step, and then you come across, and that's a trap right. Blasts, the fullbacks are a lead blocker because the wingback's coming behind you. Dives, you're getting it, and you're going either the A gap or the B gaps. Counters, if we're going counter right, that means the left wingback is going to get the ball. And the fullback's fake option. They show a fake option. Okay. So those can all happen out of any formation, all of those plays. And then our pass plays, like I said, are just numbers called out. So now that you see the run plays, I'll show you play call example. So he'll say shoot formation or falcon right formation, or whatever he wants to call tight right. So let's say shoot formation. He'll call the name for whatever triple option was. So last year it was Rick, one of them. We have several for every single play. But one of them was Rick, so he'll say shoot formation, Rick, 686. That tells us the formation. Rick tells us that it's a triple option running play, and the 686 tells us it's going to the right. And remember, there's always three numbers called so that they can't tell, but the verbal will be different. Like I said, we wear wristbands, so we have to have two ways, the ability to call plays two ways, because sometimes it takes a split second longer to call the play off the chart from the sidelines and yell it in, and then we look on our wristband. Whereas they can also yell the play, and we can go even faster. So we don't huddle. We rarely huddle. So it's really fun and cool. Okay, so there's the plays right there. Also, like with the running plays, you want to be aware, if it's a triple option play, then it can either go inside or go outside. So if you're a wide receiver, you're just trying to block them back, and people will follow your backside as you're blocking. If it's a sweep, which to go outside, you're trying to turn them inside so they can go around you. But if they're positioned already outside of you, your corner, then you're just going to push them out. So if it's a counter or a trap, those are inside plays, so ideally you want to push them out. But you'll learn more about how they're lined up against you and what you can do and what your abilities are, and you'll get better at it. So I think that's all we need. We don't need these things right now. Traps, it just shows what people's blocking assignments are, but you're doing that in practice already. The counters, the lines pulling, but you guys, the blast, like I said, we've been doing that in practice a little bit, so you'll catch on to it. The dive, And you can see the ground track. He'll use words like called ground track. Ground track just means where you're running on the ground. So pretty simple on that. The counter. So if it's a counter to the right, fullback, we show option left. Fullback, you fake the dive here, and the quarterback's handoff coming around like this and go through the B gap. All right. Fly sweeps. Wingbacks get the ball from behind and go around. Same on both sides. But the fullback fakes the trap, because other times we'll fake the fly sweep and the fullbacks will get the ball in the trap. I love this offense because it's a lot of misdirection, and so we run it really well, and we'll just get better at it. You can glance over that. We talked about speed options. Utah option you don't have to worry about right now. Falcon counter. Remember, wingbacks, there's no fullback here, so when it's a counter out of Falcon, it's an inside handoff, whereas if it's a counter in a shoot formation, then it's an outside handoff. He'll teach, you know, some of these things we just don't need to know right now. The returners know it, but you don't need to worry about it right now. We'll get it going. On the passing tree, there is names, English names that associate with the route. So, for example, the number 1, it's a hitch, and also number 1. Number 2 is a slant. So you got to have names associated with the numbers, and I already went over those at the beginning. So, a couple of the plays we have, like hook and ladder, we did one at practice. Those are just specialty, short little plays that some of you may never be asked to run. So, because they're just for certain personnel. Don't worry about that. So there's the passing tree again. Like I said, you'll learn more how to run. This talks about what the defenders are doing, but you'll learn more about that. Don't hesitate to ask Coach Ashley or Coach Cox any questions. Oh, pop pass means that the wingback's just going to get a little pop pass. Oh, also rollouts is talking about rollouts. Rollouts, if it's a rollout to the right, that means the quarterback runs outside. The first number will be an 8 if it's to the right, and the first number will be a 9 if it's to the left, and that just means the quarterback's rolling out. They'll say like 875. So that means the wide receiver does a 7, wingback does a 5. Those are the same formations shown again. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, the only thing I was going to say is for defensive purposes, I'll show this right here. So, this is the defense. So these are defensive lines, so they'll usually call them like defensive tackle, defensive guard, same thing over here, defensive guard, defensive tackle, and then these are linebackers. The next aisle is linebackers, and then you have safeties. You can have 2 or 1, just depends on how they do it or what defense they want to run. And here's your corners. So when the coach is talking, you're trying to learn what they're talking about. There's your corners. And I think I gave you most of his terminology that he'll use in emails, but you'll pick up on it. Everyone was new at 1.2, so I hope you're having fun. Hope this helps. Don't hesitate to ask me questions. If you're offensive line, you get with staff. All right. See you at practice.